who I used to call Master back in the 60s, and Brother Ultan. Dave worked in the school here from 1958 for over 45 years, and Brother Ultan started in 1970 here, and we're going to have a chat between the two. So, just starting off, you grew up where yourself?
I grew up in Tralee, Kerry, and came here. I spent a short time in Monaghan, and then came here in the summer of 1958. Yeah, at the time the school there were 3 schools here. Brother Leo, Brother Bonaventure, and Brother Ailby, I think, were the principals. And most of the teachers would have been brothers at the time, and quite a number then of lay teachers. Ballyfermot was just still new at the time, and a lot of the people would be telling me that they were sent out the country because they would have originated around Thomas Street, Francis Street, and that area. And the first confirmation, you had to have the baptismal cert. And there were well over 50 in the class, and the vast majority of them would have been christened in around Francis Street, Meath Street, Thomas Street, and that area. So a lot of the people that came, and people often said to me, they were calling it Ballyfermot. They were so far from the city, so all their shopping, because there weren't many shops here or anything at the time, they'd go back to Frawley's and Thomas Street there and all around there, and maybe the weekend go in for a drink back in the old part of Dublin that they knew so well, and meet the friends and relations.
Something just on that, now you touched on that, Master, and something I remember distinctly, and it couldn't happen today, was where you mentioned the mothers would go back into town to do the shopping. Sometimes a little brother would arrive down with the older brother that was in the class, and my mother said, could he sit in with us till I come back from the shops? And then a knock would come to the door, and the little boy would be taken out. He wouldn't have anything to do with the school, he was just, you were minding him, or one of the, do you remember that going back?
I do, yeah. There used to be a film shown once a week over in the hall, and some of the boys would have a younger brother in the convent, and they would be off school a bit earlier than we would. So he would come in for the afternoon, because there used to be a break for going home that time. We had an hour for lunch. So a lot of the children went back to the house for their lunch. So very often a younger child from the convent, sometimes even maybe 4, would come in for the afternoon and then go to the film over in the hall. And I remember, was it Brother Leo saying one time, keep an eye, he says, the way there, a lot of the films would be Tarzan or Westerns, and keep an eye on the fellas that are shouting for the bad guys. Keep an eye on them, he says, you know, so, but most of them, he says, will be shouting for the good fellas.
I say a good few of them with the bad fellas.
Yeah, there'd be a couple alright cheering when the bad fella got on top.
Yeah. And you came as a young man, you were 20 when you came here.
I was,
yeah. Up the post here. Did you hear anything about Ballyfermot before you came? Were you reading anything or?
No, very little. You know, you wouldn't be a great reader of the paper at the time, and if you did, it was the sports part you'd be reading. But Ballyfermot really was just becoming well known or unknown at the time, and yeah. But when I came, as I say, I kind of got to like the people in general, you know, and liked the school and settled in here pretty well. And
then I know you had 50, when I was going to school here, there was 50 in the classroom, or 50 plus maybe, but was it hard to control them, you know?
It was quite difficult, because some of them wouldn't have started school maybe until they were 9 or 10, you know, so the numbers were big, and there was at the time a bit of corporal punishment, you know, but like all the teachers would have gone to schools where, when they were younger, like where there was corporal punishment was part of the day, like. But as the years went by, then it got lesser and lesser, like, until eventually it was completely banned. But as I say, like, there was no backup, you know, like there was no SNA, you know, that would help out with a child that might have trouble, or, you know, or be bothered in some way. And
could I just go? I did say that I have two people teaching at home, and I was just explaining the way we used to get it, and the slap, you know what I mean? But as I did say, they have SNAs, they have all sorts of people that they can go to now, you know, whereas you just had 52 in your class from 9 o'clock till 3:30 or 3 o'clock.
And quite often at the time, you know, we'll say, you'll say you had a 4 class, there might be 3 or 4 classes. If if there was a teacher missing, you might get another 10 or 12 for the day, you know, which left you often up with 60, you know, so I suppose to keep control, you had to at times be a bit harsh, like, and looking back, it wasn't the right thing, but at the time,
it felt like the right thing.
It did, yeah. But generally, for myself now and most teachers, it would be for bad discipline, like, you know, children not knowing the work rarely would have got slapped, like, but if they were causing a bit of trouble, like, or interfering with others, they would get a slap then, like, at the time. But as the years went by, then the numbers went down, and it became much easier, like, to run the class without any corporal punishment.
And you came here, as I say, in 1958. Do you remember the school around the corner coming here in 1958, or was that after your time? Paddy Crossley?
No, I don't remember that. Yeah. I would have been here now. The band, like, was flying at the time, and there was a great tour to America. A lot of the boys went on, and Nick O'Neill, who was come in, he went to America with them at the time as a kind of a helper. You know, there were singers and dancers and band, and they went to many of the big cities. I think they were gone for a couple of months. And New York, Chicago, even Canada, they went up to Toronto, like, and it was a great...
a lot of them bands, or that band at the time then, a lot of them went on to make a living, show bands. They went into show bands and...
they did, there was a brother...
Cyprian, was it?
Cyprian, right. Yeah, he was, you know, a master of getting the band going. He used to bring them touring. You know, if a priest wanted to build a new church down in Mayo or Kerry or somewhere, he'd bring the band down to give a concert, like, to get money for the church. But,
I remember too a cardinal coming here. Cardinal, I called him Cardinal the Gagging, but he had a different name. He was next to the Pope, Do you remember that?
I do
And
well,
then,
yeah. It was, I think, Honor St. Patrick.
That's right, yeah.
As far as I remember, it would have been around 1960 or
That's 1960.
62.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But the Pope sent a papal nuncio, like to represent him, and a number of cardinals came. And I can still remember the cardinals were here for a couple of weeks, like in Dublin, but they wanted to visit a De La Salle School. And 3 that had gone to a De La Salle School in Italy, in Rome, came here to our school. And a cardinal went to each of the 3 schools. I can still remember the principal at the time. He arrived into my class with the cardinal, and he was introducing him, and he was saying he's Cardinal Morelli from Rome, and a hand shot up from one of the lads, and he says, "Cardinal," he says, "you have relations here," he says, I think it was Landon Road, the Morellis. Yeah, I can still remember him getting excited, like.
I can remember us lining that road out there. I would have been only a kid at the time. Lining that road with little flags as we went up to the church, you know. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
a very big occasion.
Yeah, but it was a great honour for the school, like 3 cardinals kind of coming at the same time. And who's this was the parish priest? Canon Try. And he was absolutely, of course, delighted with the importance like of it.
And the band then was in their splendour then as well.
Oh, they were,
yeah.
Yeah, the band were great, like, you know, they used to put on a big show too in the school, and a couple of times down in St. Patrick's Athletic, in the football ground. You know, the Pope at the present, like, they might, they'd all come out in different colours, like, and march around and then lie down, and they'd be looking down, like, you could see Pope, whatever Pope was there at the time. Yeah.
And Mr. O'Neill was here at that time doing the drill displays outside.
He was, yeah, and he had a great way and a great control of the boys. Like, he'd often have maybe 100 doing exercises, and he was an ex-army man. You know, he spent his years like in the army, and he'd have absolute great control over them. And you know, it was great for the physical end of the training at the time.
And then we'd have the huge day, the sports day, coming up to the summer.
That's right, yeah.
We'd be all dressed in our whites.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, it would be a big day, you know, and a big crowd, parents and everyone coming in, like, and
I mentioned you spent 45 years, and there seemed to be great camaraderie amongst the whole lot of the teachers. Because they all spent, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Long, Mr. Mullery, they were all here for a long, long time.
They were, like those that came, the vast majority, you know, stayed, even though, you know, they were from different parts of the country. Right, yeah. But they all settled in, you know, and gave many years. And then eventually, of course, it was all men for many years, and then the ladies came to bring more civilization to us.
Keep us in order.
Which was great too, like, you know, but generally I would say, like, that I certainly like the people. You know, you'd have a nod, say a row over something like that, but generally the people were very supportive, you know, and vast majority of them very interested in the class, like, and how they were getting on and that, like.
And yourself, brother, you came in the 70s.
I came in 76.
76. Oh, 76.
76. I'm only fairly young, you know.
Yeah.
Compared to Dave here, I'm young. I came in 76. I was in Dundalk for 10 years. I remember starting in Dundalk in 66. And I had 49 in the class, sport class, I remember that. And I enjoyed Dundalk. Then I was changed here to Ballyfermot. And of course I knew about Ballyfermot because the majority of the LaSalle brothers in Ireland have been to Ballyfermot, were in the school here, or at least did some studies here, you know. So Ballyfermot was our first big school in Dublin. The first school in Dublin. We were invited in here in 1947 by the Archbishop to open a school. And so the school started in 52, as you know. So,
and you would have heard from other brothers about the school.
well, of course I did. So I was here, I was in Ballyfermot on doing courses before I ever came up here, like, you know. In the summer courses, I did a summer course here over in the hall there for 3 weeks, like, you know.
And a great sports school as well.
Brother Ultan and myself and Mr. Brennan.
In charge of teams.
We're in charge of the teams. Yeah. So we got to Croke Park 3 or 4 times.
4 times we did.
You know, for finals.
Yeah.
Including playing against Mary Queen of Angels.
And
we beat them. But that was always a good day out, wasn't it?
Yeah. First main cup, the one was 1976, the year I came here. Had nothing got to do with me, but the one, the Southampton Cup, which was the biggest cup with the big schools in Dublin, you know. Played in Croke Park on the 8th of December, I remember that well.
I think we have pictures of that on the site.
There is pictures there.
We have pictures on the site.
And then I was mostly involved with athletics. I loved athletics, like, you know. We had relay teams and all that. We won several cups in Santry and various places, you know.
And they would have a relay team here in the school?
Oh, we had the 10s, 11s, 12s and 14s relay teams. And they won several medals in various places, like, you know. Brother Salle School, when he came in, he came here the year after I came here. He was the one who divided, we had 3 staff rooms when I came here. Each school had their own staff room, and you would hardly know the teachers in the other school. But Salle School came in 76, and he had 1 staff room, and all the staff. There was really only 1 staff after that, in one sense, even though there was 3 different schools. Until 82. When the ladies came, that's when the ladies came. 1982. They were the first ladies. They were the first permanent ladies on the staff, and there's 2 of them still here, as you know. Mrs. Cross and Miss Plant were still here. So they were the first ladies. No?
And I know you're very loyal to the school. You had to be back and forward for St. LaSalle's Day, and you attended. I met you at the 50th anniversary here, going back.
That's
of
right.
The school, going back as well.
I was at many St. LaSalle days because I went to school in Cork, in West Cork for a while, and it was at LaSalle.
Ballyfermot.
And we celebrated the LaSalle Day there. And then when I came on to here, and I used to come in then when I retired, I'd be invited back for the LaSalle Day.
I met you a couple of times here.
So when I get to heaven, I'm sure he'll be there for putting in the good word.
And overall now, over all your years, you really love this.
I did, I liked the school and liked the staff, and definitely liked the parents. You know, I found they were an awful lot interested, but, you know, not pushing you or anything, but coming in and really nice, and there was one occasion this man came in, and he. I forget what, some small incident or whatever, but he says, I could only call, he says, between 2:30 and 3, he says, because that's the holy hour. Oh
my God. And yourself, brother, you liked the school. Did you go anywhere then after that?
No, I started here, I finished here. I was 34 years in the school here teaching. I retired in 2010. I came to 65 years of age and you had to get out. And I'm retired since then, but last year now I've not got to do this school. I got another job over in charge of. I'm in charge of a school now in Glasnevin, special school for a smaller number of kids. So that's gives me something to do. I suppose the big wrench that will come change. Ballyfermot 42 years, then it's closed now, as you know. Our house is closed, and I had to move to a new premises. But I enjoyed Ballyfermot. I do the sports. I was involved in a lot of things in the parish, a lot of things, you know.
Yeah. Well, I knew all along the De La Salle brothers were involved in the community. They were involved in the starting of the credit union here in 1963 over in the De La Salle. Yeah. So you were heavily involved in the choirs then up in the church and that. Yeah.
I wasn't involved in the choirs now, you know.
Yeah. No, I know that. But you'd always see, especially in the 60s, when you went to Mass for Lent and different things like that, you'd always see the brothers going up and down, up and down.
When I came here, I got involved. I was involved with the summer project for about 30 years. I was involved in the swimming club there in Sean Dunn's pool, the Vanilla Swimming Club, which is called that. Was started here in 67. It was going up to nearly 2000, you know. So I was involved in that for 30 years as well.
And the committees were very good, weren't they? I think they had a men's committee back in the 60s as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I know Gay Kyo and Mr. Jago and all was involved.
They ran the bingo. The bingo was the big thing here when the film stopped. They started bingo to go up to school, fix up the fields out there. The fields were all done up. Remember, there was a farm there.
Right,
The fields were levelled, all cost money. So we had a red committee there gathering money to have facilities for the students in the school, like, you know. It was all for the students.
Oh yeah, I know.
And even the school was, when I came here, the school was pretty, there was only, every room had about 4 bulbs sticking down, and there was only one little plug in a corner. Down through the years, with the money that the bingo made and the committee made up, they thought new computers and everything came then, you know. So life was much easier and much, you know, classes were smaller, everything was easier as we moved along, you know.
Oh yeah.
And one other good point, Ken Try and the brothers, you know, when the school was first being built like in that, they got a huge amount of ground, you know, like there are 3 football fields out there, like plenty of room, and, which is great, like, because there were a lot of schools in the country, you know, crushed, like, and without the facilities that you got here, like, and the amount of ground, like, and everything.
Right, because in 1947 that the Archbishop asked us to come in, I was told that already, and we bought the land here, but at one stage we were thinking of buying, what do you call the hospital, Kilmainham Hospital.
Oh yeah.
We were going to start the school down there.
Oh,
this was the thing, but it was only maybe a thought. Lucky the thought big, and came up here and bought the land and built the school and built the monastery and everything.
Yeah.
You know?
And as you said yourself, Dave, you just have to look out the top window up there, and that land spreads right down Chapel Lizard all around. You can actually see the whole, And I think there was even more land down here.
There is, yes. That's right, where the steeples is.
That's right,
There's a big valley down there.
That's right, down there, there was more land down there. It's a massive.
Yeah, because
there was a farm here that time. There were 6 cows down there.
That's right,
You probably know that.
Oh yeah. Brother Coleman used to be involved in that and cutting the grass here, keeping the place
That's right.
around.
Because often now, like in the middle of the city, you know, I'd pass the school and you could see the small amount of ground they had. You know, the children were all crushed at playtime, like, because just had the building and a very small front and back, like. But here, like, they had plenty of room. You could have 3 football matches on at the same time, which was great.
Schoolyard is probably, I said, there's no school in Ireland with the schoolyard we have. It's over 200 yards long. I measured it. I had a 100-metre track in that schoolyard. I put down one summer, 8 lanes, 100 yards in the middle of the yard.
Yeah, and I still remember the first day I came, to the school, like, well, I had been in the monastery, all right, like me before, but when I came in and I looked and I saw all the classes, the whole length, couldn't believe it. Like there must have been 25 classes, like with around 15 each or over. Like, and I said, what am I let myself in for?
I was just actually going to ask you that because you came from the Monaghan school. How many would you be teaching in a class in Monaghan?
About 20.
My God.
Yeah.
And then you came into a class of 50.
I was the principal actually.
At 20 years of age, you told me, right?
Because, and the lady that was with me, I had to say from 4th class, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, and she had infants first. But like, she would have been in her 60s and had spent her life there. But still, a gentleman from Kerry at 20 coming in, he was made the principal. You know, so
things were different.
Things were different.
Yeah.
Things were
And
different.
you were never homesick. At 20 years of age, you're only a young man going from Kerry to Monaghan, then coming to Dublin.
It was. Yeah, I suppose that was the way it was. Because like at that time too, like a lot of my age would be going to England, like in America. You know, so like to have a job in the country was great. Like,
I know what you mean.
You know, you didn't mind where you had to travel. Like,
You soon settled into city life, and anyway, you soon settled into the city life. As I was staying in Kilmaine, and you know, and there was an hour that time for lunch. So sometimes I'd get the bus down to have the lunch in the middle of the day. And then at the time, the brothers used to all the supervision
in the yard. So lots of brothers here then. Even when I came in '76, there was 2 or 3 brothers in every school, each block, you know.
I remember being out in the yard there, and you'd be playing the 60s, and you'd be trying to get by someone. You know, it was that many people in the yard, and there was a line of demarcation, as I used to call it, across the yard. And if you stepped over that line, you know, well, you weren't allowed to go into one yard to the other, you know. Like they had the one for the top, the middle and the bottom school, you know. But they're now the kids. And I came in, it must have been 10 years ago, when they were starting to do, or maybe 6 years ago, when they started to do the Dominican Common, you know. And there was only a handful in the yard compared to what was in the yard back in the 60s.
Well,
I couldn't believe it.
1,500 at this time, I guess then. Now I came here in '76, it says there were 1,000 here then. And then the numbers started dropping in 78, 79, 80. That's when the numbers dropped. We lost, a couple of those years, we lost 100 each year. Say 200 went out, and only 100 came in. And that's what.
You see that cherry orchard and the housing up there, was kind of taking. Well, they go. Most of them, some would still come down, like, but some were still going to the Mary Queen.
That's right, before they built St. Ultan.
And that's when the schools in amalgamated, as you know, in the 80s, like, you know, to 3 schools. In the old days, if you were in the bottom school, you had to be there for the rest of your life, second and third. So teachers didn't like this because if you want to go for a job somewhere else, you'd like to know they had get experience of all the classes, you know. So that's why they had 2 vertical schools, and 2nd up to 6th in both schools. Which was a good system, I guess.
So it'll be a sad day in June when we see it go. Well, this month actually, in a couple of months, a couple of weeks time, It'll be a sad day to see it going, you know. Because the amount of memories that people have from the school, good memories. Some have, unfortunately, bad memories, but overweigh the good memories, good memories from the school, you know. And the amount of people that has travelled the world, like we have a lot of people on the site in America, Africa, and they always mention, you know, the school. So they'll be looking forward to seeing yourselves, and you know, and so I think we can leave it there, Sean. I have to thank Sean for the video.
Okay.
And yourself, Dave, for taking time out of your day.
And I'd like just to say thanks very much, because it's always good to come back to Ballyfermot and the school.
I spent most of my life because my second home, Ballyfermot, in one sense, like, you know.
One thing, the Ballyfermot people ever got a Kerry accent. And I don't think I got a Ballyfermot accent.
You kept your accent.
Because people still say to me, like, you're gone so long from Kerry, but you didn't completely lose it, like. But, so I just said...
You lost a bit of it anyway.
Lost a bit, but...
Well, I think we leave it there. I want to thank Brother Ultan for the stuff that he donated to the Heritage Group. It'll be all on display on Heritage Day in August. And thanks very much for them. Great collection there. You know, we have the drums and the whole lot from the school.
Yes. You got the key at the school.
And we got the key, and we got the
trowels.
The trowels and different things like that. Yeah, now we have it all there, and we got them all shined up and they're there on display. And please God, they'll be there after we all go. You know.
Well, that's why I handed them over, because we have a place down in Castle, we put one down there, but they'll never be seen again. They belong to Ballyfermot. Leave them there.
Yeah. No. Thanks very much.
The casino band was from here, wasn't it? They were a show band. Casino.
Yeah. You remember the name though, but unless Sean knows them, you knew them. Yeah.
Well, the Indians were the only ones with.
The Indians, that's right. Yeah. Sean himself played in the band, did he? The accordion band,
With the
James McCall.
Yeah.
Even before Brother Cyprian, that was, so, you know.
Was it? Oh,
yeah, that's right.
The Shadows.
The Young Shadows.
The Shadows, oh yes.
Yeah.
Jimmy Story.
Jimmy.
Pat Long.
That's right,
there's pictures of them in various.
And just one other thing we had as well, funny enough, going back into history here, we had 3 lads appeared on the stage over there back in the 60s. They were the Bachelors. They were only young lads at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
3 bachelors, the real bachelors.
The Bachelors, yeah. They were from Kilmainham.
That's right, is that where they're from?
And they were up here, and Terry O'Neill would have been involved here. He was the projectionist.
Oh yes.
And he would have got the concert together. And it was him wrote that in, that he had them on the stage. I forget now what they were called then.
They were called the Manicards.
The Manicards, is it?
Manicards.
Oh, I say Manicards, yeah. And he went on to the Bachelors. So you had them all here, you know.
Yeah,
you had them all here, and you taught them all.
They had Thomas Walsh as well.
Well, we just mentioned Thomas earlier. Yeah, Thomas was here.
Who's Thomas Walsh?
Thomas would have been the lad that was involved in the 1958 school around the corner here.
Oh, the young now. That's
famous recording.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And he would have did the Inisheer, and he's still involved in music. Thomas,
Right.
Thomas,
Did you get any records of the band? Have you got any copies of them? No.
Yeah,
Two.
Two. Yeah. So I think we'll finish off there, and as I say, I want to thank yourself, brother, for all that, and yourself, Dave, for taking time out of your day. It's great. Great to see you.
Thanks for the show to come back.
Yeah. One of the masters that left me with happy memories.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Thank you.